Rebecca gazed at her reflection in the bathroom mirror. Tonight wasn't just another evening, it was a step back into a past she thought she had left behind. The familiar excitement of seeing Steve again had stirred something deep within her, a mix of nostalgia and illicit thrill. Her husband, James, was out of town for a conference, leaving Rebecca with a rare opportunity. Steve had contacted her out of the blue a few weeks ago, and their conversations had quickly reignited old sparks. What started as innocent catch-ups had turned into something far more dangerous. The restaurant Steve had chosen was upscale, their usual place filled with soft music and dim lighting, a perfect setting for their clandestine meeting. The restaurant buzzed with quiet conversations and clinking glasses as Rebecca arrived. She scanned the room and spotted Steve at a corner table. He stood up with a warm smile, his eyes reflecting the same excitement she felt. "Rebecca," he greeted, his voice smooth. He leaned in for a quick kiss on the cheek, and she felt the familiar rush of adrenaline. "You look beautiful." "Thank you," Rebecca said, sliding into the chair opposite him. "It's good to see you." Steve's eyes softened. "It's been too long. I've missed you." As they perused the menu, their conversation flowed effortlessly. They reminisced about old times, shared secrets, and talked about their lives since they last saw each other. For Rebecca, it felt like slipping into a favorite old sweater, comforting yet dangerously familiar. The evening progressed with a blend of laughter and flirtation. The connection between them was palpable, and by the time dessert arrived, their shared glances and touches had become more intimate. Steve reached across the table, his hand brushing against Rebecca's. "Rebecca, I can't help but think how wrong it feels to be apart from you," Steve said softly. "We've never had this kind of connection with anyone else." Rebecca's heart raced, her resolve wavering. "Steve, I know we have something special, but I'm married to James." Steve's expression grew serious. "I understand. But sometimes, what we have is too strong to ignore." Rebecca's phone buzzed in her purse. She glanced at it, an incoming text from James, asking how her evening was going. She quickly replied with a vague message, trying to keep her deception intact. What Rebecca didn't know was that Steve's wife, Laura, had begun to grow suspicious. She had noticed Steve's unusual absences and strange phone calls. A few weeks ago, she had discovered a series of text messages that hinted at something more than a mere friendship. Laura's frustration had led her to investigate further, and tonight, she had followed Steve to the restaurant, hiding discreetly at the bar. As she watched Steve and Rebecca, her heart sank. The realization that her husband was having an affair with Rebecca was a blow she had not anticipated. As Rebecca and Steve wrapped up their evening, Steve walked her to her car. The night air was cool, and the quiet street was illuminated by streetlights. They shared a lingering kiss, a promise of more to come. Rebecca turned to leave, her heart filled with a mixture of guilt and excitement. She had hoped that this affair would remain a secret, but as she drove home, she couldn't shake the feeling that something was about to go terribly wrong. James returned from his conference a day earlier than expected. He entered their home, tired but looking forward to a quiet evening with Rebecca. He was taken aback when he found a message on his phone from Laura, asking to meet him urgently. James was confused but agreed to meet her at a nearby cafe. Laura arrived with a troubled expression, her eyes red from a sleepless night. As she sat down, James noticed the pain in her eyes. "Laura, what's going on?" Laura took a deep breath. "James, I've discovered something. Steve has been seeing someone else. I followed him tonight, and I saw him with Rebecca." James's face went pale. "Rebecca? My wife?" Laura nodded. "I'm sorry, James. I didn't want to believe it, but it's true." James felt a surge of anger and disbelief. "I need to talk to Rebecca." Laura's gaze was steady. "I think we need to confront them together. We deserve the truth. And we will able to confront their lies as a united front." As James and Laura made plans to confront Rebecca and Steve, the tension between them grew. Both were hurt and betrayed, and their shared goal of seeking justice brought them closer. They decided on a meeting at a neutral location, a quiet park where they could ensure a private and controlled confrontation. The following evening, as dusk fell over the park, Rebecca and Steve arrived separately. They were met with the sight of James and Laura waiting at a bench, their expressions stern. Rebecca's heart sank as she realized the situation had spiraled out of control. "Rebecca," James said coldly, "Steve. We need to talk." Rebecca's breath hitched as she took in the scene. "James, Laura cut her off. "Save it. We know everything. We've seen the messages, and we saw you together." Steve stepped forward, trying to maintain his composure. "Laura, this isn't what it looks like." Laura's eyes were fierce. "Don't even try. We're done with your lies." James's voice was filled with hurt. "Rebecca, how could you do this? After everything we've built together?" Rebecca's world felt like it was collapsing. She looked at Steve, who seemed equally devastated. "I'm sorry, James. I never meant for any of this to happen." James's face was a mix of pain and determination. "Why are you looking at him? Is he your protection from this, from me? If we're going to work through this, you need to decide right now, me or him. If you choose me, there will never, under any circumstance, be any contact with him again. If we're going to try to work things out, that is non-negotiable." Laura turned to Steve. "And you need to figure out your own mess. I have consulted a lawyer, and the divorce papers will be ready in days. Your personal items have been put in storage, so do not return to the house. You do not live there anymore." "No. That's not right. Listen to me, Laura, it's not what it looks like. Steve, I have been investigating the two of you for weeks. You are not innocent, either of you are," Laura said, staring at Rebecca. "I'm done with your lies. I have evidence of it all." Feeling defeated, Steve could not look Laura or James in the face. "I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to, we didn't mean for this to happen." James took a step toward Steve. "I know you hadn't planned on getting caught. It would be wise for you to stay far away from me from now on." "And that goes for me too," Laura said, ensuring he knew the depth of her contempt. As the confrontation came to a close, the emotional weight of the evening settled heavily on everyone. The path forward was uncertain, but the truth had been laid bare. In the quiet of the park, Rebecca and James began to grapple with the fallout, while Steve and Laura faced the daunting task of rebuilding their lives. Please like video and subscribe to this channel for more dramatic confrontations. Thanks for watching.